activity is called kshetra. And kshetrajna means the spirit soul who's playing in this field. Is playing in this field. And this is a real game. It is real game. You can lose and you have to come back to play the match again. If you win, you don't have to play this match again. It's a very interesting, different level of game. Now come back to football. Any game for that matter, cricket or football or volleyball or ice skating or, whatever. All these games, they're all played and people really deeply enjoy it. But it's not really very something serious. It's just a game. And we are only made that game. We made one team this side, one team that side. And then you play against each other. Oh, 1 point, 2 goals, this, that. And then you create an emotion, a sensation. But where did all these games come from? It's made by human beings. It was not there before. It was there in a different form before. Earlier, the games were very real games. In the Greek history, you'll see gladiators. You'll see chariot races. You'll see really fighting people each other and killing each other. Sporting. They're all Kshatriyas, warrior men. They like to sport, they like to play, they like to compete with against each other. And that sport can become a war. And in the war also they will fight face to face. And there are also games. So in this way you will see the games are made for entertainment. But sometimes it can become a very serious game and even turn out to be a fight. And you can kill each other. And lots of people are watching, 2 people dying. So all sorts of games, real games. And then today you have games wherein people actually become so much involved emotionally. And it becomes one nation against the other nation. Pakistan versus India. Argentina versus France. Ooh, lots of emotions, huge money, advertisement, and people become so emotionally attached. And they sit around in hordes and lakhs of people watch it. Millions of people watch it all over the world. But actually it's temporary. But it's exciting. It's like a secondary excitement. I don't play the game. I don't go inside the field and play the game. But watching the game is even greater thrill. Somebody else is playing. I pay for it and I watch the game. What is it that is exciting about a game? Competition. And all these things. But people become so involved, so emotional. So emotional. That sometimes people cry, sometimes people tear their shirt, sometimes they fight with each other, box each other. If you speak about, we lost the game, you lost the game, fight with each other. So emotional. I heard that people, some of them, died because of watching the game. And become emotional. Some boyfriend and girlfriend separated because they have difference of opinion on who's the best player. And all sorts of things you hear. And so, oh, so serious. Very serious. Field of activity is similarly like that for us. Krishna is explaining here. Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yattat jnanam matam mama. He's explaining that if you know the field, you can play the game of life. And this is exactly like that. You have an opponent. 2 teams play. 1 team against the other team. Everybody in this material world has a natural opponent who poses as your friend, Maya, material energy. And the material energy actually keeps you very tamed by giving you everything that is needed. Prabhupada told us that when you wake up spiritually and you know what is happening to you, then you start fighting and you want to become spiritually oriented. When you become spiritually oriented, it's like a game against material nature. You have to fight. Anybody who wants spiritual life, he has to fight against his own material nature. My own habit. I put in a new discipline. I want to conquer my base, lesser habits. In this way, there is a fight between yourself and material nature. And those who don't fight, there is no game they're playing. If you're not fighting, if you're not willing to become spiritually oriented, then there's no game. Yenechi aushadhi maya nasi barolagi. It is mentioned that Jeev jago, Gora Chandra bole. Kota nidra jao maya pishachira kole. A very great devotee has written this. Wake up, O sleeping soul. Lord Gauranga is calling you. Don't sleep. You're sleeping on the lap of Maya, and she has given you a feeding bottle so that you will sleep. Keep sleeping. Don't wake up. Because if you wake up, you will come to know, hey, what is happening? Who am I? What am I doing here? Why am I doing this? What's the meaning of life? Then you will start saying, no, I want it. I want the real meaning of life. I am a spirit soul. I am not this body. You'll start fighting it. Then the real game of life starts. Invariably, everybody who wants to become spiritually oriented, he has to fight. But if you want to be very much settled in the material world, you have no game to play. You have already conceded defeat. Please don't fight with me. I am under you. Whatever you want, I will do. Material world means whatever Krishna's Maya Shakti pushes you to do, you agree to do. You're also happy because you get material gratification, you get material sense enjoyment, and Maya supplies to you. Once in a while, kicks you also, and you take that kick and what to do, please. I don't fight. But if you become spiritually oriented, then Prabhupada told us that if you become spiritually oriented and if you wake up, then you have to declare war on Maya. Then starts the real game of life. Then starts the real game of life. Human being is meant for playing this game. You must wake up and you must find out who you are and why you are in this situation. And you must go back to your natural situation. And therefore, I'm ready to fight. Fighting means you fight your mind. You fight your lower nature. You fight your habits. You introduce a spiritual habit. You be in sattva guna. In this way, everybody who wants to make a good meaning in his life, he will have to be prepared to fight his lower nature, material nature, and be situated in the higher spiritual nature. This is the game of life. But there is simple material games that we are playing. FIFA. People are, each one is paid very high. One country against the other, so many big sponsors. And there are some people who are also trying to cheat in that. Sometimes people will take some drugs to be extra strong and have more stamina in sports and athletics. And then we check up, you have done this, you're debarred, disqualified. Or sometimes there is match fixing. Somebody is told, I'll give you so much money, don't play nicely. Don't score. If you do that, I'll give you money. And let the other team win. You don't win. If you are the best player, I'll give you so much. Somebody else is sponsoring the whole match. Big company is sponsoring. So there are sponsors, there are match fixers. Similarly, that in our life also, there are sponsors and match fixers. There are match fixing. You can get sponsored. Somebody can come and tell you, don't do this, not very good. Our marketing will be spoiled. Simple things itself. I was told that when energy crisis came and people's health problems came and eating too much, all those came, then people were advised to cycle. Go to work on a cycle. And then lots of cycles came inside at one point of time. You see in many places I travel in the US and all that, you'll see there are cycles. Anybody can take, just number and lock, and then you'll be hiring it and you can drive. There's a special place you can drive. I don't want to go by a car and become fat. I want to drive to my work every day. And I leave my bike there and walk up to the office. Evening also, there'll be any bike I can pick up, I can ride. And many people started driving bikes, cycles, bicycle, not motorized cycle, bicycle, so that I'll be fit. Then the people became disturbed, all the businessmen. Array, if everybody starts riding bike, nobody will ride car. Nobody will take motorcycle. And our business will go. So we should not encourage people from riding cycle. We should advertise. Let's say there's some problem with cycle if you ride it. Let's create a rumor. Let's do that. Or some other people will say that, no. This thing, if you don't do, our economy will get spoiled like this. People should be greedy. People should go for shopping. People should shop and buy things that they don't like. Then only the economy will go on. Like this, there is a lot of match fixing. If you don't do this, this will happen. Therefore, this will happen. Let us make the money. So in the material world also, you will see people in the game of life. You will see that there are lots of people going against what you're doing for your health, for your good, for your spiritual life. And so it's very difficult for a person to play this game of life in such a way that you will win in the end. Kaunteya pratijanahi name bhakta pranashyati. But Krishna is saying that whoever plays this game according to my instructions in Bhagavad Gita, he will never be a failure, he'll always be a success. He will win. Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdharat, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruvanitir Matir Mama. The last shloka of Bhagavad Gita says that whoever follows this conversation, whoever practices this Bhagavad Gita, he will Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutir. He will become very rich and he will become very successful. Real richness, real success you will get. Okay? So, everybody is born as human being to play this game of life. How to navigate in your material life and how to become fixed in spiritual life. Krishna is giving those instructions here. He's giving those instructions here very nicely. And Arjuna is willing to listen to those instructions and play the game. That's why Arjuna becomes successful. He becomes successful. Those who actually play the game of life by listening to Krishna's instructions, they become successful. So actually, it's easy to play a game. Not so easy. Okay, you have to prepare for it. You have to coach. You have to work hard. But it's easier to watch the game. It's easier to watch the game and get pleasure out of it. And it's easier to actually use the game to make money. Somebody else is playing, I get money out of it. I get benefit out of it. But this is all temporary. You can lose your emotion. You can become very disturbed. You can become very sad, depressed, and your whole nation can cry. Sometimes when the teams return back after losing, the people don't welcome them properly at home. The country doesn't welcome, you lost. In some other places where they have won, the whole country is celebrating the victory. Sometimes people will think that ultimately what all this is about. It is that if you take spiritual life as a game, I have been born here many, many times. Bahunam Janmanam Ante. In this lifetime, I want to actually achieve success. I want to know who I am. I want to achieve the goal of life. If you think like that, then you can play. Then you can actually become interested, you can become involved, and you can watch, and you can be warned by Krishna from within the heart as Antaryami Krishna, how to play the game, what to do and what not to do. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Desham evanukampartam ahamajnana jam tamah nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvada. I situated in the heart will actually help that person who is interested in playing the game with knowledge and information so that he can become successful. So that he can become successful. In this way, Krishna is teaching us how to play the game of life. But you'll see, many people play all these different games. For instance, tonight there's this big football going to be played, a big match with Argentina against France. I found out some information from our young boys, and I got to know. I was in Kerala 5 days back, and I was seeing all over the city big hoardings. And I was asking, why all this football? Who are these people? All over the place. Maharaj, you don't know? You don't know FIFA World Cup? Yeah, I said, who are they? These people? Because I didn't see that in Tamil Nadu. No big hoardings and all of. Lionel Messi, great footballer. I said, oh, this is the guy. This is the. I got introduced to many as we were driving down. Everywhere hoardings, different football teams are playing, and I saw that on the ground they're playing. Everybody's watching the match, and they're also playing. Everybody's feeling I am so and so, and I kick the ball like this, and I score the goal like this, and I run and jump, and whole fever, football fever, everywhere, and all great stars are being spoken about, lauded about, and praised. In this way, whole fever is going on, set up. But actually, some people don't even know what is happening. In football means what? I am from some village somewhere. Football. And when he sees, he may, like somebody told me a joke. I said, footballer, hey, why are they fighting so much for one ball? Why don't I donate one ball each for all of them and send them home peacefully? Yeah? You don't know anything about football. So you're wondering, what is this game? What is this game? From that type of ignorance to people who get so involved in the game. I was being told by the youngster there saying that, Maharaj, you don't know. It is full emotional, great attachment. Sometimes people don't want to see. Oh, he's going to score the goal. Like that and all that. It's so heavily emotional and involved. And this is just a game. This is just a game. And it's not nothing you are losing, but you don't want to watch. And there are fights, and there are sides taken, and people have strained relationships because of some game being fought, some people kicking the ball around and putting it into some goalposts, and everybody shouting and yelling. If you don't know anything about the game, you know, why are people taking it so seriously? Why are you taking it seriously? What is wrong with it? But the game of life that Krishna is talking about, you must take it very seriously. In human form of life. It's not like football. In one sense, it's also like football. Scoring the goal means making a point, in your Krishna consciousness, overcoming some difficulty that you have that is blocking you from spiritual life, and you gain victory over it. Krishna is describing that to Arjuna when Arjuna is telling that, no, I cannot practice this because my mind is very chanchalahi mana Krishna pramati balavatridam. Krishna is saying, no, you must train. He's train. Abhyasa yogena tato. He is explaining that you must do abhyasa. You must train your mind. And then you will see the mind will become your best friend. Atmaivahi atmano bandhur, atmaivahi ripuratmanah. So when a person takes it as an important challenge to him, and he works spiritually, and then he's able to control his mind, and his mind listens to him. I am greater than my mind. I am spirit soul. Mind is my instrument. My body is my instrument. You must do like what I tell you. In this way, you have control over your mind. And then you become a hero. The Bhagavatam is telling one who is able to control his mind, thereby control his senses, is the real hero. He's the real Lionel Messi in his life. Why? Because he has controlled the most difficult thing. In the game of life, he's able to control, like they will say in the football, what control over the ball he's got. He's dribbling it like this, putting it behind, taking it like this, shooting into the goal. He's very, very expert with his legs and with the running and with dribbling and with shooting the goal. Similarly, a yogi is very expert at dealing with the mind. What suggestion of the mind I should take, what I should neglect, and what I should act on, what I should not act on. I told you this body is a field, and the mental field, you have to know how to use your mind. If you become a servant of the mind, you call Godasa. You're a servant of the mind and the senses. You have no control. Wherever they take you, you'll go. What to do? I'm not able to stop. I cannot stop drinking. I cannot stop smoking. I cannot stop sleeping. I cannot stop eating. I'm growing fat. I cannot stop. People can't control themselves. They can't control their mind and their senses. Become a total failure. You lose the game of life. So every human being knows these things. I must be a disciplined person. I must be a gentleman. I must behave properly. I must learn correct behavior. I must study this properly. I must be a good person. I must be successful in life. And therefore, I discipline myself. Therefore, I have code in life. So playing the game of life means being serious about how to be a proper human being. How to be a proper human being. Each one of these players is also very disciplined. They also have to coach. They'll be under the coach. They have to get up early in the morning. They have to do so many things in the gym. They have to run. They have so many things they have to do in order to remain fit to play the game. Otherwise, you can't play the game. Otherwise, you won't be useful. Otherwise, maybe you'll be kicked out of the team. So for any type of success in this world, you need to be disciplined. Even for this game. Similarly, for the game of life, you must be disciplined. You must be disciplined. So these are small things. A human being can do that. He's already got the capacity to do it. It's got the capacity to do it. So Srila Prabhupada introduced it as a challenge to the human being. Because Krishna poses it like that in Bhagavad Gita. He says that if you take it up, neha vikramanaswasti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. If you do a little bit in this direction, after becoming a human being who is fit to play the game of life, if you don't do it, such a waste. It is like saying, after training, after coaching, after knowing the game very well, and suddenly you feel, I don't want to play the game. you become mentally weak. Arjuna became like that on the battlefield. He's a great Kshatriya. And he was all of a sudden seeing his grandfather Bhishma, he's seeing his guru, he's seeing everybody. He said, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. I cannot do my duty as a Kshatriya. Immediately, Arjuna counsels him. No, this game has to be played by you. Otherwise, people will think you are not doing your duty properly. So every one of us has got a role to play. And we have duties in society. A mother has got duties to keep her children together. A father has got duties to earn for the family and keep the family together. We have got duties as citizens of the country. We've got duty in every form of life. And we're forced to play it. Do it properly. Get trained to do it properly. Right? Otherwise, you don't be a successful human being. Similarly, in human life, we have got the opportunity and all the tools. Kshetra, Kshetrajna is explained so beautifully in the 13th chapter by Krishna, that the soul is expected to play this game of life and follow these instructions that I'm giving and become successful. Become successful. Right? So we can learn a lot from these games. We have an opposing field. Maya opposes you if you want to progress. And why is it opposition? In opposition, you grow stronger. You know, people are trained how to swim by putting them against the artificial current of water, and they has to swim. They'll stay in the same place as they're swimming. And the current is increased, like on a treadmill. You increase the speed. And you know, athletes and all, they run with weight in their shoes. The coach puts weight 1 kg on each leg underneath the shoes. And it is now you run. And he never allows him to lift it. 2 days before the finals, he takes it off and says, now you run, you do better. You do better because you've trained for something heavier. And on that day, you become lighter. So you'll fly. You fly. So this type of opposition makes you stronger. So Maya, Krishna's material energy, when you take up spiritual life and become serious, will come in front of you and oppose, attract you again, tempt you again. In Christian theology, you will hear about the temptation of Christ. Before he's taking up this very big burden of becoming the person who is responsible for bringing God to everybody, he's tempted by the devil. Don't do this. It's not good for you. You should not do this. You'll fail. You cannot do it. You'll definitely fail, and it'll become a big shame for you. And it's called the temptation of Christ. I'm giving you a very sketchy understanding of it. But generally speaking, anybody who accepts spiritual life, he has to be ready to actually fight this temptation. Opposition like that makes you spiritually stronger. Just like all these athletes I told you are given some opposition so that they become better at their game. So Krishna's advice is that you should take this up. And if you take it up in life, I will be with you. And you will never be a loser. You will actually win. This is an amazing proposal. What is it? Krishna is saying, I'll be your sponsor if you depend on me. Matchitta sarvadurgani matprasada tarishyasi. If you depend on me on all the challenges that come in front of you, by my mercy, matprasada tarishyasi, you will cross over those challenges. Whatever difficulty you face, you will cross them over, because if you think of me, connect with me, and be in consciousness of me, you will cross over. Atachetvam ahankara na soshasi vinangshasi. But if you don't listen to me and you think you can do it yourself, you will actually fail. Without my involvement, you cannot fight this material energy of mine. Mama Maya Duratyaya. My material energy is very difficult to overcome. So in this way, Krishna throughout the Bhagavad Gita is telling how to live this life, how to navigate, how to use all the tools of a human being has, that advantage in the human form of life, and how to successfully live life, calling it the game of life, right? So, uh, as we progress in spiritual life, we know that these are also nice games, it's entertaining, but then after playing these games for some time, you see there is more to life than just this second hand participation. I want to play the real game of life. That's what Arjuna is doing. Arjuna is a great sport, he's a great Kshatriya, but in the battlefield, he understands that I have to play the real game of life. And Krishna teaches him how to do that. And according to Krishna's instructions, he does, he becomes successful. So we are also being asked by Krishna to play the game of life using the advice he has given, using the instructions he has given, and become successful in the end of life. End of life is when is the real test. Death is a big test. Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. At the time of death, can you think of me? Mameva smaran. If we can think of Krishna at the time of death, chant the name of Krishna, remember Krishna, Krishna will take you back to the spiritual world. And that is guaranteed by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. If you can do that, you are successful in human form of life. You won the match against Maya and you're liberated. You're liberated. So Krishna is teaching us how to do it. And he has appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's telling, in Kali Yuga, it is very difficult for you to fight and play the game. But I've made it very easy for you. If you simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, you will very easily win. Very simple shortcut to win this game. So we are following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order. We're asking everybody to chant the holy name of the Lord. You can chant privately in japa. You can join together like we did just now and chant together. It's more powerful. In this way, we'll get trained to actually play the game of life successfully. So we are very happy to teach you. Here we have Bhagavad Gita courses. We have 6-day course, 7-day course. We have 18 days course. We have 1-year course. We have a special certification given for all these things. And we teach and train people also practically in life how to apply these principles. And in this way, we are trying to help many people become successful in the game of life. Thank you very much for joining us. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, anybody having any doubts or any questions? Any questions or any doubts you can please, they can come up. Maharaj, one small clarification. Maharaj, you said that we should put a stress on the mind, Maharaj. Can you give some tips how we can put stress on the mind?
I didn't say put stress on the mind.
We should actually have that servant of that man, the mind, which is my study we have been doing. How can you have control?
I didn't understand the question.
Maharaj, you are saying that.
Hold the mic like this, please.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah.
You are telling that we should put a stress on our mind because we are always under the control of the mind. But we should overcome.
We should put a stress on the mind.
Yes, yes.
No, I don't think I said that. I said you will have opposition. You'll have opposition and you'll get temptation. And then you unless you are spiritually trained, you have trained your mind, you will not be able to control your mind, right? So um, training your mind, Krishna says, abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena chagriyate. Arjuna is saying, I cannot control my mind like that. I cannot do this yoga. I cannot do. And Krishna is saying, no, you should train your mind. You will be able to do, right? So I'm speaking about training your mind, training your senses, putting a discipline. And in this way, it will be sometimes difficult for us because we want to be free. We want to not have any imposition. We want to be free. But if you're free, actually you're losing. But if you control your mind, your senses, actually you're winning the game. It is the other way around. People think I want freedom. I want to do what I want to do. But if you're allowed to do what you want to do, mostly you'll go and try to do certain things which will actually spoil the chances of you being successful. Right? So some amount of discipline, it's called sadhana. Sadhana means training yourself to be spiritually oriented, not doing certain things which you should not do. Little bit, small discipline. And then in this way, one trains his mind. When one is trained in his mind, he actually knows the benefit of it. He knows the benefit of it. A trained mind is your friend. An untrained mind is your enemy, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. So most of us, the mind makes a lot of noise, lots of thoughts, lots of instructions. We act according to those instructions. But if you use your intelligence and if you distill your thoughts, if you take advice from somebody who's more experienced, if you take advice from Bhagavad Gita and instructions of Krishna, Prabhupada's instructions, then you will see that you're able to control your mind and you will feel like a hero. You will feel, yes, I've been successful. That taste of success in because you are able to control your mind and your senses and able to take part in spiritual activity, that is a very great success. So the more you do it, the more you want to do it and more you want to achieve. In this way, one can actually progress in controlling his mind. Om Tat Sat.
We particularly thank His Holiness Sakyamuni Swami Maharaj for his wonderful discourse on game of life.
Hare Krishna. Today's Sunday Prashadam feast, sponsored by Sri Jayaraj and family. Please come forward. Jayaraj Prabhu and Radhamani Mataji and Bhakta Upendra and Bhakti Vrinda. On the occasion of their grandson Varun's birthday, Hare Krishna, இன்றைய ஞாயிறு உபயதாரர்கள் ஜெயராஜ் மற்றும் குடும்பத்தினர்கள் இங்கு தயவு செய்து முன்வருமாறு கேட்கிறோம். ஜெயராஜ் மற்றும் ராதாமணி மாதாஜியுடைய பேரனுடைய பிறந்த நாளை முன்னிட்டு இன்றைய ஞாயிறு உபயதாரர்கள் also part sponsored by Venkateshlu and family, first memory of Chakubai and Harin Subaya. இவர்களுடைய ஆன்மீக முன்னேற்றத்துக்காக ஒரு முறை உற்சாகமாக நாம் ஹரே கிருஷ்ணா முதல் தெரிவிப்போம். ஹரே கிருஷ்ணா ஹரே கிருஷ்ணா கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண ஹரே 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 ராம ராம ஹரே ஹரே